Hey guys, welcome to My Performance Health. I'm joined here today with Dana and Bailey, resident team members here and coaches and fellow competitors. And it's myself here as well, Michael. And what we're going to run through today, Dana's made some notes. We're going to look at requirements for physique competition and competing. This is very important, I think, to get right from the start or manage expectations from the start. So you understand what the requirements are, what the expectations are, what the experience is like, so you can have the best experience moving forward with your own physique or comp prep journey. So guys, welcome. I'm very keen to dive into this one. Done, you've done really good. We've got some nice, neat notes that we're going to run through. But let's have a look. Talk to me, Dana. Let's lead into it.
Okay, so we've got a big list. So the requirements for competing. Let's start off with money-wise. Because this is not a cheap sport at all. It's probably one of the most expensive sports to do. What are some of the things, right, money-wise, that we have to look out for?
Yeah, so definitely there is a cost involved. Sometimes it can be more surprising, sometimes not. And it does depend, from guys to girls as well. I would say that ladies definitely have a bit more of a dollar sign associated with their comp prep, because you got to look at things like the bikini, the jewelry, hair, makeup. There's a lot more to it. Whereas guys, we get the shorts or the trunks, the tan.
Maybe get a haircut.
Yeah, you get a haircut. Right, but there's maybe a little bit less of a dollar sign associated as well. But let's break it down. Now, like other sports too, there is a cost involved. And this is an aesthetic sport. We actually are getting judged on the looks up on the stage, right? That is what's happening. So when it comes to the money involved, obviously there's coaching. So we've got a coach that we usually have to pay for to help guide the process. And I do recommend having a coach. It just helps make better quality decisions, because as we'll cover at the end, we've got some brain fog stories. When we're pushing a very low body fat, sometimes our brain doesn't think the best. And it's just great to have someone that has a solid skill set in the trenches that can help make better quality decisions and keep you on track when you're questioning yourself or questioning your decisions. So definitely a coach is going to be thrown into there, whether that's in person or online. And that coach may also do posing, or you need a posing coach as well, right? And that comes with cost too, whether it's one-on-one, online, group. But that's like non-negotiable. They're non-negotiable. A lot of this is, but like you need someone to help you guide throughout the process. And I would recommend, obviously, you're dialing in your posing and not just focusing on YouTube videos. What are your thoughts on those two?
Yeah, posing's a big part of it, and a lot of people don't understand that. You could have a fantastic package to show on stage, but if you don't know exactly how to show it, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. We can have an awesome physique, but if we're not on point with our posing, our presence, our confidence up there as well, we're not going to get the points that we need to actually be as competitive as possible. You can have someone with just as good physique, they've got better posing, they will usually overtake you in the judging, right?
Presentations,
and for some people, they may need more posing lessons versus others, and that will come possibly at a higher cost as well. So definitely the coaching side, posing, nutrition, training, workout, the guidance, that's all going to come with a cost, realistically. And then you've got the residual costs. Obviously, you've got to pay to enter the show.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Your walkouts.
Each category is a fee.
If you're doing like your regional shows, state shows, nationals, each time, there's a cost with that as well. But really, it's a trade for the experience.
It is. But then you just have to take into account the little things as well. Like if you're a female, you're looking at makeup, hair, jewelry, bikini, bikini heels as well. Bikini's probably, I would say, one of the most expensive things on that list.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and you can go pretty expensive with a bikini.
You can, especially nowadays.
Be glam it all up, right?
And then there's things that's obviously optional as well. You got your tan. I mean, well, that's not optional. But then you obviously got stage photos. You got all these things that you don't have to pay for, but videos, stage photos, all these things that you could just make the experience even more and remember these moments too.
100%, they accumulate up.
Yeah.
And then you've got the cost of the supplements.
Yes. And food.
Food as well.
Food as well.
But it's an investment rather than a cost, I think,
Big
right? It's for the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll cover this as well with our notes too and what you've prepared here, Dana. But everyone, your reason to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's investing into your reason to accomplish it, and you can take away that for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there are costs associated with it. Like I touched on, some more for ladies than men.
Yep.
It can really range, or it can start at a baseline. But to get the most out of the experience, that you're going to have to invest into these areas.
Yeah, and during prep, you don't want to be stressing about your bank account, thinking, oh, will I be able to afford this? Or, you know, you want to make sure you have it already there.
Yes. Yeah, so I recommend to enter with the mindset into competition that, yes, you're going to need some resources there to invest, both time and money, to get the best out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And stress management is a whole nother conversation in prep, but of course minimizing the stress, and if financial would be one of them, yes, definitely managing your finances to reduce the stress from that's going to help your prep.
100%. Yeah, we want to manage as much stress as possible. And then moving forward, Dana, what do we have next?
Moving forward,
as the next requirement.
Let's touch on your labs, right? So health-wise, hormones, digestive health.
Yep. So, so when we talk labs, that's like our lab work. We're looking at digestive health. Great one to start with. Now,
massive.
Not all clients that see us that want to do a competition straight away actually do the competition straight away. Some do, some don't. What I mean by that is if we have a client that has some health or digestive issues, it may not be the best idea to start a competition, and we've got to manage expectations that way and come up with a game plan to solve whatever health issue there is. For example, if someone has dysbiosis or any gut issues and they want to compete, but they've got a lot of bloating, poor motility, poor digestive health, they're not assimilating their food properly.
Switch your focus.
Yeah, and they may start the program, but their weight's fluctuating, they've got pain. Maybe it's not the best idea to cause more stress and get rid of that stress that's already there. So definitely having a solid baseline of health is important. Getting lab work done so you can look at your blood sugar, thyroid function, iron, things like that, because we're going to go to low points of body fat, right?
Yes.
We're going to push the body both with men and ladies to a point that, it's not the usual average healthy baseline, but we do that for an acute part of time and get out. But if we've got low iron, if we're not operating as healthy as we can, it's going to be a lot harder, and your physique may not respond well as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts with that?
Well, I guess you could touch on a bit on your experience, because I remember that you did compete with the Parasites.
Yeah.
Very true.
And then compare it to, your other competitions where where your health markers were good.
Yeah, so I say that from myself as an example, and it was good because it allowed me to look more in the functional health side of things. But my first ever competition, I went throughout the process, but then started to have gut issues. I couldn't eat carbs, and when I say carbs, I'm not talking about sugar, like chocolate. I'm talking about I'd eat a bit of brown rice, white rice, and bloat and have pain. And I was like, something's going on here, and did some tests. And then found out that I had a parasite in my digestion. And then a couple of weeks out from competing, I actually had to go on antibiotics and kill it. And I had a bit of, water retention, inflammation. So it was a little bit of a messy prep. Now, I wouldn't recommend that. I still did all right. Still got top 3, However, I wouldn't recommend that because I didn't bring my best physique to the stage, and it was a lot harder to push through that time.
Yeah.
So I do say that from experience compared to my other competitions where, I didn't have as much water retention due to inflammation. I was much tighter, I had a lot more muscle mass and just better mentally to push through as well without having those issues. So look, I caught on to that later on in my prep. I wasn't aware of it at the start, but this is why it's good to, ask questions. Do you have digestive problems? Even when you perceive to be eating healthy, where's your health actually at as a baseline before causing more stress with a physique comp?
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest thing as well is just understanding that you cannot outrun health. You have to make sure that your health is in check. You can, I've known some people to do preps and to step on stage and do competitions whilst their labs weren't the best that they could have been. And at the end of the day, it's kind of taking a step back and looking at, was it worth it, right? Could you have done better if you sorted out your health first and then went through with a comp?
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone wants things quick, you know, quick to get onto the stage and that too.
Yeah.
But sometimes taking a smart approach will enhance your experience and enhance your result. So it's important to be, you know, on point with your health.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you want to put your body in the best possible position before going into prep.
Yeah.
And definitely looking at your labs and looking at your health markers is one of many things to make sure it's ready.
Yeah.
Because once the stress does come, stress is going to increase, everything of that. You want to make sure that the body can withstand it all.
100%.
And make sure it can cope with it all before. So
100%.
labs is definitely one to make sure.
Yep, and we always recommend baseline of labs, blood tests, if digestive tests are needed at the start before competing. Obviously, you see if there's any symptoms just with your questions and how a client would feel or athlete would feel, and then labs at the end to see as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's good for guys to check on their testosterone levels. It's great for everyone to check on their thyroid levels, iron levels, and just a whole blood panel.
Yeah.
But it's important to see as both baselines, because when you come out of competition, you want to improve your health back to or get your labs back to a healthy average baseline.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, Donna, what we got?
Next one, we have, I think these two can tie in. So your why, so your reason as to why you are wanting to step on the stage. And also mindset is a big thing.
Yeah. So with why, I think why is massive. I think, like Mick says, we talk about a lot of people want it for the experience. But I think sometimes, in my opinion, just an experience in itself sometimes may not cut it, with sometimes not understanding of what a prep can really, what you have to go through, really, with stress, with what the body has to go through, with the sacrifices you have to make. And I feel it's very, very important to understand and know your why and why you are doing it. So then when things do get hard and the sacrifices do come into prep, with being relationships, with being family, work, energy levels, all of that, and to then rely back onto your why and remember why you're doing it is very, very important, and to have a strong why too. And that's why I touch base. Sometimes just saying, I want to do it for the experience may not be enough.
Yeah, well, what is the experience?
What do you
want to get out of it?
Yeah.
You know, great questions, and I agree with you, Bailey. It's like, yep, we want to compete, but I always ask, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to get, like, overall? Do you want to get a pro card?
What do you want to achieve?
What do you want out of it? What do you want the competition to give you? Like, what are you looking for? Because then we're on the same page. We can have a roadmap with that and check in that it's happening. Yeah. Because, you know, some people will do it for their own self-confidence. Some people will do it to be competitive.
Yeah.
It's important to be on the same
Everyone's
page.
different. Yeah, everyone's different.
And with mindset as well, you'll have some people that will just look on social media and will see, you know, people on stage on the day where everyone's glammed up and everyone looks amazing. But then it's also understanding what you actually have to go through to get to that point. Because it's not a glamorous time like, you know, what everyone will see on social media. So having a strong base of what your why is will help you get through that prep and that experience to then step on stage.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So requirements, right? Very important. Yep, we're going to have to put some resources, money, time into the effort of competing. Requirements of a decent, healthy baseline, right? We're going to need to sacrifice some stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be for sure. And for that, you may have to sacrifice a bit of time.
A bit of social life.
A bit of social. Well, maybe, right? Like,
you don't have to, correct? No. But
look, I when I compete, I still go out. I'm not going out to 5 in the morning or anything like that. So let's be real. I'll still go out with friends. And when I first competed, and I think this is important, when I first competed, I was a lot more like, I need to sacrifice everything, right? Compared to when I last competed, where it was like, you know, I can go out and eat a steak, you know, at a restaurant, and it's not going to kill me because I know how much the steak is, and I'm not getting the gravy. I'm not getting, which I don't eat anyways. But I'm not getting all the weird stuff with it, right? I just get my steak and vegetables, but I can go be social, you know. So that's important, because some people think they need to sacrifice everything, and it can negatively impact them to a degree as well, and disconnect with some people in their life. However, from my experience, I've been through kind of both. If you're smart with what the decisions you make while being social and that as well, you can get, if not better results, because you might be managing your own stress better.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But you need to be smart with what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, you need a requirement for competing, a strong why. Why are you doing it? So when those tough times come, which they come, you can push through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they definitely will come in prep.
Yeah, they come.
definitely
Yeah,
will
100%.
come.
You question things. And yeah, it's going to be times where you look in the mirror and you're like, am I ready or am I not ready?
Yeah.
It's
All
going
the
to,
time.
yeah, why am I doing this? Maybe
But that's why it's
well.
also important to have a coach, because you will get to the point where it's almost as if you don't see yourself or how you actually look. So you need someone from an outside perspective to be like, yep, we're lean enough, or nope, we've got to dial it in, you know?
Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Right. Now have a plan, a game plan with it. And what else, Donna? What else requirements?
Requirements. So time. Let's touch on time a little bit. Because you will, like, I look at prep as more so as a lifestyle. So everything is a routine. You wake up a certain time, right? You eat meal one a certain time. You have your supplements. You do your training, and you go to bed at a certain time, right? So.
Yeah. So let's touch on that, Bailey. What are your thoughts for time?
Yeah, I mean, for myself, it's about finding value in the time that you're doing it all. So the things that, like Dana just said, having that routine of waking up, having meal one, having all your supplements, finding value in those things are really going to help you to put those time away consistently. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a consistent thing. That's what's going to really drive you to be better or to be different than everyone else. Is doing it day in, day out. And to help you do that day in, day out, I think is finding value in these things. Of why you're taking your supplements, why you're taking your meals every single day, which then comes back to why your why is so important. But time management is definitely going to be one of the biggest assets and the skills that you're going to need in prep. With your meal timing, with your supplements, with sleep, with routine, all those things. So time management and time is going to be very, very important. What are your thoughts?
Cool. Yeah, no, definitely. Look, I agree with everything you said. You need value with what you're taking, what you're doing, and each little bit of time that you're spending, whether it's with the food, supplements, sleep, steps, workouts, cardio. So it's you need to put away time to achieve this goal. And the expectation is it really depends where you're at. And what I mean by that is, are you someone that is in shape and we don't have to do as much cardio or something because we're not trying to compete in 4 weeks' time, you know what I mean, to get ready quick? Or do you stay in shape? You know, and you don't need to sacrifice as much time on the cardio machine and that too. So there's going to be different levels, I think, as well to what's needed. But you're going to need, regardless, you're going to need to put away time for your strength training workouts, right? You're going to need to put away time depending for cardio. Some clients maybe, some clients not. You're going to need to put away time for your sleep and prioritizing that, because we can train as hard as we want. If our sleep's not on point, we're not going to recover, progress, grow, we're going to have more stress, right? You're going to have to put away time for your step targets, which is very important, right? Especially as we start to get lower body fat, we don't want to move as much, so we need to hit our step targets. You're going to need to put away time for, not getting lazy with all those little details. Not getting lazy with supplements, not getting lazy with your prep of food, you know? So there is going to be a focus on your time, and it really is it is an athletic mindset. You need to be focused as an athlete. That's what athletes do. They spend their time on the details that compound up to get the result, you know? And this is no different. Whether it's focusing on resting, whether it's focusing on training, eating, like I touched on, sleep, you need to prioritize your time to get the experience out. Now, some competitors that, posing takes time, not getting lazy with that daily, right? There's a lot of details. Sometimes people don't know those expectations. They just see the Instagram photos and go, oh, I just train and that's what happens. You know?
And especially with posing too, especially if you're wanting to start to compete. I don't think, even for myself, you don't realize how much time you actually need to put away for posing specifically. It's an art. Like, it's something that you want to put a lot of time into.
Yeah, I totally agree. More time you put in, the more you're going to get out.
Yep.
And but that's what I'm saying. Like all these details, they all cost time to do them.
Yeah.
You know, but if you've got this goal, you got to be focused and you got to put away that time. All right. What's the next one, Dar?
Next one, we're looking at relationships and proximity.
Sweet.
Massive.
All right. So look, proximity, who you surround yourself with. You got a coach that motivates you, pushes you, makes quality decisions, posing coach as well. They're like two avenues that you can surround yourself with to be positive. Other people that are competing or other athletes that are competing are getting amongst the culture. But yeah, relationships also extend to family, friends, right? I do recommend, and everyone's a bit different, right, how they work. If you get negative feedback with what you're doing and you take it as a negative and have stress, that may impact your result.
Yeah.
You know, if you get that, if people are pushing against you and you only use it as fuel, that may enhance your result. So it really depends on you as an individual. But I do recommend, regardless, you get in a environment, a proximity, and you make relationships, whether they're professional or with family, that uplift you one way or another, to limit stress, but also, once again, you're going to spend some time in prep. Those around you you're going to spend time with. You want to make sure it's a successful journey. You know, and you need those along next to you to help you make that successful.
Yeah, like you want to be surrounded by people who support your journey to getting on stage. Also, in saying that, I will say I've had a couple competitors in terms of proximity. Sometimes we don't realize we're doing it, but when we go on social media and we're scrolling through Instagram and we see other people, you know, on stage, their stage photos, what they look like on the day.
Good point.
You find it very easy to compare yourself to those people, especially when you're in the middle of prep and then comparing yourself to, you know, someone who's on stage, someone's stage photos, right? They've got the lighting, they've got the tan, they've peaked for that competition, but you're still in the middle of prep. So in saying that, it's not, you know, it's not fair to then compare yourself to someone who's on stage ready whilst you're being in the middle of your prep. But if you find yourself comparing yourself to, you know, other girls or other males on social media, I actually recommend for all my competitors to either unfollow, so you don't look at it if it's affecting you in a negative way, or also looking at it in a different kind of point of view where it's like, does that then motivate you? Does that then push you to be like, okay, yep, cool, you know, I've seen all these girls, they look fantastic, you know, that's my goal, and does that fire you up, or does that bring you down?
I totally agree. I think that's a fantastic, and that touches on the mindset and requirements for competing. Very easy to compare. And I think a lot of it is, but you're getting compared to other athletes on stage. And like said Bailey, comparison is the thief of joy. You can use it as fuel, or it can also bring you down. And social media is great, as it's powerful, but it also can cause a lot of issues, right? So I totally agree with you, Dana. If you find you're comparing on social media and other avenues, I recommend to either mute those sources, you focus on yourself, because that comes with this game. It's unrealistic to say there's going to be no comparison, right? But you don't want that to impact your focus, your success, the best you can control it. And it's a requirement for competing. You are going to get compared on stage. You know, that's what's going to happen. You're going to be compared to the person next to you. However, the journey to get there, it can be negative in a perception way if you're constantly looking at others and bringing yourself down each time, you know. So great point. I think it's important to understand that may come with competing. Mindset wise, we've got to be strong, confident, focused on yourself. Remember why you're doing it. And look, at the end of the day, no one cares. What I mean by that is you know, down the track, people don't care for themselves. They won't. As much as you're thinking of yourself, people just think of themselves as well, and they're doing the same thing. You know, so focus on your experience while you're doing it. That'd be my biggest recommendation to get the most out of competing. You're your own comparison and competition.
That's it.
But I think it's massive of what you touched on, though. You got to really identifying everyone's different. For me personally, like at the start, I looked at it and I would get in my head and it would put me down. And I used to talk to you about it actually. So it's very important of identifying, if you look at people on social media, is it a motivating thing? Is it motivating you looking at them, or is it getting you upset and is it getting in your head with it. So it's good to identify how it can help you.
100%.
How it can help you.
That was a great one. Look, guys, great conversation. We'll end it there because Chris is like, hey, time to wrap it up. So very important one as a baseline for competitors to understand, and anyone who's going to go through some transformation, this can carry over as well for any transformation, right? Some key points there. But if you are a competitor, it's important to understand the requirements, especially if you've never competed before, okay? So guys, appreciate you having a great chat, sharing your experience. It was great to share my experience as well, but very important to start as a baseline.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for listening to our audience. If you're ever interested in our coaching service, you can check out, or even other resources that may help with competing body transformations. We have competitors that see us, whether they're in person or online. We also have clients come to us for body transformations to help fine-tune their physique, and what we do here is help pay attention to the details to take it up another level. So if you're interested, you can check out our website, www.mindperformancehealth.com.au. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. You can check out the other episodes, and guys, we'll see you in the next one.